Hey there everybody, this is Lee with Creative Two-Time Mom, and today I'm going to be sharing with you an end of the homeschool year update. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Lee and this is Creative Two-Time Mom. If you're new here, this channel is all about homeschooling, parenthood, and thriving in the day-to-day. So I hope you will click that subscription button down below and follow along in our journey. So it is the end of May. In fact, the day that I am filming this, it is May 22nd, and we have exactly 6 school days left. We are ending on the very last day of the month, and I saw this thing the other day that talked about how every month has 30 or 31 days, except the last month of school. It has like 1,498, something like that. And that has absolutely been the way this school year has been. I've tried really hard not to be antsy, and I haven't. I'm not necessarily anxious for summer, but it's just been one thing on top of another this month. It's been state testing, it's been school testing, it's been, my daughter had to run the mile this year, so that was another appointment for her to go do that, dentist appointments, baseball season. I was trying to think the other day because it's just been everything. Getting my curriculum list together for next year, choir concerts, just everything, anything and everything that you can imagine is happening right now. In fact, we only have 6 school days left, and I still feel like there is at least one thing every day on top of regular homeschool, regular sports. There is like some other miscellaneous type appointment. So May is dragging on and on and on, and I'm still feeling like we're not getting anything accomplished. It's that time of year where like I'm so ready for summer, but I'm also seeing all the things that I wanted to get accomplished or the things that I think I still might be able to squeeze in, and the days feel so long and I feel like we're not getting anything done. So I have to keep reminding myself, just breathe. It's okay. Things will work out. You'll get done what needs to get done, and then you'll move on. So we are finishing up. We only have a few days left, like I said. And it's been a very kind of up and down year. It's been an up and down month, and it's been an up and down year. I homeschooled an 8th grader, a 5th grader, and a 2nd grader this year. And I really felt that pressure of having spread out ages and everybody needing mom. I felt like the need for mom this year was huge, and so it's just been a very interesting year. Let's talk about my 8th grader. He's in 8th grade and he's graduating at the end of the month, which is absolutely insane to me that we've been homeschooling for that long, that I'm now graduating an 8th grader. He has had a pretty good year. He's taken a couple classes at the charter school. It's been a good year of trying to transition into being more of an independent learner, which the funny thing is I'm seeing that even in high school, that you don't back off, your role just changes. He's been pretty independent, and he still is pretty independent, but he still needs me way more than I thought would be the case at this age. So we've talked about test taking, we've talked about note taking, we've talked about just reinforcing a lot of concepts that he knows in preparation. We've gone back and actually redone a few things just so that they would be solid for next year. Algebra would be one of those things. You know, he gets the concept of variables, but we've just gone back and we've really tried to nail down, this is what you do, this is the steps every time. And I feel like that's kind of the process that we will go through with our daughter in middle school, as well as just reinforcing those basic concepts. Of course, adding on when necessary, but making sure that those things are really solid before moving into high school. So speaking of my daughter, she was in 5th grade this year, and she's kind of old for her age. She has a Christmas birthday. So she kind of always works ahead in a few subjects. Math and language arts would be those two. And this was the year that she was like, I hate math. Because again, this is where the algebra is coming in. So we had to work through that a little bit. My goal really is to encourage her that math does not have to be as scary and as intimidating as she thinks it is. I really struggled with that in homeschooling. I thought that when they hit those higher level maths that I would just be done. But I'm kind of finding out that it comes back. It's not as scary and intimidating as a lot of times girls think it is. And you see these girls fall away in their math and their science around this age, and so I've really tried to encourage her that it's not as scary and daunting as she thinks it is. I don't think that she's necessarily going to go into one of those fields, but I don't want her to be intimidated by them. I don't want her to choose to not go into a math field because she's scared of math, to not go into a science field because she's scared of the math and the science, if that makes sense. Want to keep her options open. So that's been interesting. This has been the first time I've seen her really struggle with that, and I, for both of my older kids, have tried to encourage them that struggle does not mean defeat, or it doesn't have to mean defeat. So we have worked a lot on just attitude and positivity and staying engaged when things are challenging. And then I've got my little guy who is in 2nd grade, and I tell you, that kid makes me, he forces me to learn. He really does, because he'll ask questions that neither of my older two asked at all. They wouldn't even have thought to ask these questions. So he asks these questions, and I have to go, that's a great question. Let me write that down. When we finish what we're doing, we will go look it up. Because he's always asking me things that I can't answer. His struggle this year was spelling, and I gotta give him credit. He's only 7, and he just finished 3rd grade spelling. So it was a struggle at the beginning of the year. We really had to say we are going to study. I don't typically give my kids homework, but spelling this year, he had homework every night. He would write out his spelling words, or we would do them verbally or whatever. And it got to where the end of the year, I didn't have to do that anymore. He was picking them up a lot quicker. He was taking time to kind of practice them on his own, and his spelling just took leaps and bounds probably within the past month, probably since Easter. So that has been really cool to see. He knows a ton. We are finishing off the year in astronomy and space travel, and that's honestly one of my favorite things to teach. It's one of his favorite things to learn. I've combined him with my older kids, and I've tried to kind of reach out of the box and find other parts of space that you don't typically study. We've studied the moon before. We've studied the axis before. So this year we were talking about space exploration. We're talking about the race for space and why that was important. And he's just eating it up. And again, coming up with these huge mental connections between concepts that are really throwing me for a loop, because I don't know how to answer the poor kid. So it's been a full year. It's been a challenging year. It's hard for me to really evaluate how this last year went, because I feel like the biggest challenge was for me personally in trying to not doubt myself, trying to be confident in the path that we've taken. I don't know why, but this year in particular really threw me for a loop, and I don't think it had as much to do with the kids as it had to do with me personally. I don't know if that's because they're getting older and I'm looking at them going, can I still do this? It's kind of that idea of not allowing my daughter to be intimidated by math. I don't want to allow myself to make decisions and to react emotionally because of my own intimidation. So, but it's been a good year. It's been a full year. We've incorporated a few new things. I've tried to lighten our year a little bit. We've been doing art lessons with chalkpastel.com, and we love those. We do those once a week. We've been talking about music more this year. We've been trying to get in the habit of doing private, quiet devotional time, each of us on our own. And I kind of put that under the umbrella of school, but that's also under the umbrella of parenthood. So especially with my older two getting older, I'm really trying to work on that being a habit, not being a have to check the box, but just becoming a habit. So it's been good. We still have consistently stuck with our field trips, and in fact I think I was trying to think about it today what my favorite field trip was from this past year, and my favorite was probably going to the firehouse here in town. We got to go to the fire station, which was really cool, especially with the past summer that we've had. The kids got to learn a ton, and really it brought a lot of humanity to the firefighters who are on the front line for our family and for our community. That was a great experience for them. And of course, going to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, we love that. We took a family trip and did that again. Best read aloud from the past year. Our best read alouds from the past year we actually incorporated into our curriculum with my older two, and I think I've talked about that before. So the top three I would say were Rascal by Sterling North, which we all absolutely loved, Sign of the Beaver, and A Wrinkle in Time. Those were all on our read aloud list, and they were ones that we actually turned into school assignments. And the funny thing is, I would have my little guy working at the table trying to get something done, and he would be sitting there doing math and listening to us read and still be able to comprehend the whole thing. So it was a read aloud school assignment. The biggest read aloud disappointment of the past year, I think, was Julie of the Wolves. I went into it not as prepared as I should have been, and there was some more mature content in that book. Not that it was something that would keep me from reading the book, but certainly not as a read aloud to my 7-year-old. There were a few things that definitely needed to be edited as we went along, and so I was somewhat disappointed. And I love the books by that particular author for what they are, but they're not super engaging. And this was a really thick book, so I would probably not ever do that one again. I may assign it as an independent reader, but I don't think we would ever do that one as a read aloud. The biggest thing I think I learned about myself this year, and I still struggle with, is that I want to be a relaxed homeschooler, which is really weird because for the past 7 years I've been very structured, and I'm a very type A person anyway, and so I'm very type A in my homeschool, and I realized that I was grinding my kids too hard. I was pushing them just too hard. And so we worked on incorporating games this year. You guys saw a lot of game videos. We worked on incorporating those art lessons. We worked on doing music once a week. And I think that's what I'm learning about myself, is that I need to pull more of that in to balance out my personality and to hopefully bring back just kind of a stress relief for all of us, and incorporating. And so we're doing that a lot with our space unit. I have a lot of trivia games with our space unit. We have a memory game for constellations, and I'm really working to try to develop lesson plans that bring more of that in. We tied our art lessons in with our space unit this past unit. So I'm really trying to balance myself out. So that's kind of our update for the past homeschool year. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know how your homeschool is going. Or if you are a new homeschooler and you have any questions, leave me a comment down below with those as well. I will do the best of my ability to answer those clearly for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this one, and we're definitely looking forward to the summer. There will be more content coming up in the coming months, a little bit more light homeschooling, definitely reading books, definitely joining in on the fun, and some planning for next year. So hit that subscription button if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Bye guys.